go ahead and get started, and I'd like to welcome everyone to our monthly board meeting for April. And we have Ms. Wells joining us virtually, so she won't be up here with us tonight. At this time, would everyone please join me in a moment of silence? Thank you. At this time, would everyone please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. Board members, we are down now to approval of our agenda. Does anyone have any additions for the agenda tonight? If not, I will need a motion to approve the agenda. Motion by Mr. Bowers, second by Mr. Johar. All in favor of approving the agenda, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? I hear none. And we are down to our recognitions with Miss Embry.
Well, good evening, board members, Susan, and all of you guests that are with us tonight. We have some special students here that we want to recognize. They do a very interesting sport. I'm going to call it a sport. So we have high school students that are in FFA. They are in the land judging, and they have become pretty popular, and so I'm going to let you know what they have accomplished. They have placed second at the regional competition. They placed first at state, which gives them the rights to go to nationals, and they are heading to Oklahoma next Saturday. So let me tell you, if you're wondering, as I was, what in the world do you do as land judging? Let me tell you just a little bit. You wear boots. The team, here's what they've got to determine. This is just a little bit of it. Percentage of slope of the land without any measurement tools. The soil texture of the topsoil. The soil texture of the subsoil. How deep the roots can grow. How well it drains. How well it is aerated. The ability of the land to supply moisture to roots. The land capability class. What conservation measures need to be put into place to improve the land for crops? What fertilizer needs to be added? What factors, if any, that keep the land from being used for intense cropping year after year? That's just a little bit. So I would like you to join me in congratulating each one. As I call your name up, I'm going to have you come up, and Miss Orr, you will present a certificate, and then we're going to do photos. Parents, I want to thank you for coming tonight. We're going to do photos out in the hallway whenever we finish here. So first up is our junior, Miss Courtney Drennan. Congratulations. Next up is sophomore Addison Fleming. And then we have sophomore Jonah Jordan. And last but certainly not least, Trace Harper. If you all want to grab a picture there, that would be great, and then we'll do that in the hallways. We want to wish you all the best of luck next week. A fun trip. They get to do a lot of different things as they travel out, while they're there, and then heading home. Thank you. Congratulations. I'm going to invite, you're welcome to stay for the board meeting, but for now we can step out into the hall of photos, and then you all can be well on your way. Thank you.
SBDM members can sit. You take it off.
Okay, we'll move down now to our treasurer's report, Mr. Blitzinger.
He's over here.
Yep.
Thank you, Chairman Rager, board members. I need to get them to look at the soil at my house because our lawn is atrocious. We had, actually, the side road has more grass than our actual lawn does.
Just blame the county, it's all right.
It's terrible.
Just blame the judge and the county and everybody in the world.
Kara would tell you that it's terrible, so. As always, we start with revenues. The beginning balance is at 42.459. This is down 1.35 million. Revenues are at 2.926, which are down 665,000 from last month and 1.3 million from the same period last year. Seek is unchanged. Federal is up about 459,000. State is down 609. Taxes are down 517. Other is down 97,000. Food service is down 107,000, and daycare is down 1,000. For total revenues of 45, or excuse me, total revenues and securities of 45.386 million. That just skipped ahead, I'm sorry. Expenses, the expenses this month were $826,501. That is down approximately $59,000 when compared to the same period of last year. The significant bills in March were Old National Wealth Management of $51,425 for debt service and Performance Flooring for $42,361. Payroll is at $2.889 million. It is down $13,000 versus March of '23 for total expenses of $3.7 million. Further breakdown of accounts payable, fixed. Sorry. All right. Other fixed and mixed expenses of $963,000, variable expenses were $359,000, utility expenses of $109,000. Ledger balance at the close of the month is 41.669. Bank balance 31.5 with outstanding checks of about 896,000 for a cash close of 30.6 million. Further breakdown of the March cash balance. General fund is at 27.9 million. That's down 804,000 from the previous month. Special revenue is at negative 856. It's up 20,600. Instructions down about 7,000, and debt services at 51,000 reflects that. Not touching anything. So for a total of 41.669, down 789,000. Extended financial picture, the cash flow needs through July of 2024 are about 37.47 million. Are there any questions?
Are there any questions on the treasurer's report? If not, I need a motion to approve. Motion by Mr. Bowers. Second by Ms. Bard. All in favor of approving the treasurer's report, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? I hear none. Move down to payment of bills and salaries.
Thank you, Chairman Rager. April board bills, we bring $366,355.58. Of that, utility expenses are about $99,000. Fixed and mixed expenses about $108,000, and variable expenses of $158,000. The significant expense was to Pogue for $62,990.
Questions? If not, I need a motion to approve payment of bills and salaries. Motion by Mr. Johar. Second by Mr. Bowers. All in favor of approving bills and salaries, please say aye. All opposed? I hear none. And we'll move down to to public participation? Okay. Thank you. All right, so we will move down now to the superintendent report, and just note our personnel actions have been given to us and will be placed in our minutes. And I'll turn it over at this time to Ms. Wolf.
Okay, I'll let Central City go first. They're going to share a little bit about what's going on in the school there.
Thank you, Ms. Orr, Chairman Rager, board members. Just want to highlight some of the positive things that are going on at Central City Elementary. So one thing that we have done over the past 4 years is something called Pride of the Tide. So what we do is we take the competencies from our profile of the learner, and we encourage our staff to recognize our students or our staff members who have just gone above and beyond to show those. And so there you see a staff member and student who were engaged citizens, and they're behind there you go. You see one of our students who was recognized for being an engaged citizen. My arrow's not working here. There we go. So there we see a student who was an engaged citizen and another student who was a problem solver, creative problem solver. So what we do, the teachers are encouraged to recognize when they fill out a form. They are recognized on our morning announcements. Then they come down, they get a certificate, they take it home, hang it on the refrigerator. We share their picture on social media, and so it's a great way to have positive engagement on our social media platforms. Oh, it worked that time. Another thing that we do at Central City Elementary is every single Friday we have Spirit Days. So this was right after, Mr. Calso, was this right after fall break? We had some folks who went down to Disney and they brought some guests back with them. So Mickey and Minnie came and greeted our students. So you see them out here around recess time. That picture on our left-hand side is my favorite because that girl's face just says everything you need to know about Mickey and Minnie coming. So that was a great day, but every single Friday we have activities going on. There you see on the left-hand side, it was hair bows versus bow ties day. So we take pictures of those, post them to our social media. So that was a great day. This is our Valentine's Day. That's a classroom that poses in front of the balloon arch that we have. So those go on every Friday. Great way to build culture, and to, honestly, one of the great things about it is that positive engagement in social media, because there's so much negativity out there. That's a great way to build some positive building culture. There you see our assistant principal, Mr. Calso, walking around. He
The
had a
cleaning
treat.
supply?
What was that?
Is that a cleaning supply?
He is walking around delivering floats to all of our staff members with a little note on it that says, "Thank you for keeping us afloat all year." Here you see our Family Resource Coordinator, Miss Vicki Taylor, reading a story. She has what she calls her book buddies, and so she goes in once a week and reads a book with our daycare. There you see an activity that they had. Obviously, that was around Halloween where they were painting pumpkins. We do after-school clubs one day a month, and so here you see some of our students who are participating. That's our cooking club to the left, that's our slime club to the right, and that's our slime club and cooking club again, so I guess they're getting a double dose. But we post those pictures to our social media as well, and we get so many shares and likes on those, so that's a great way to just share that positivity with the community. We are not on the level of maybe some other schools when it comes to our Halloween parade, but we are moving in that direction. So you see some of our winners from our Halloween parade. The young lady to the left in the picture on the left-hand side was our overall winner. She was Mother Nature. And then you see one of my personal favorite costumes in the picture to the right, the young man on the left, was the Invisible Man. This past week or the week before that, we had Dress Like Your Favorite Staff Member, and so I just wanted to highlight that. It's our school resource officer, Officer Nance from the Central City Police Department there with all of our junior officers that help keep our schools safe that day. And then that is our head custodian to the right, Mr. Brad Grundy, and that's two of our custodians that followed him along for a little bit during the day. And I specifically put that picture, drew a little beard on him. He's wearing a Muhlenberg County shirt. He's got the name tag. It is his son. I didn't want to show the picture of all the students that I was their favorite staff, because that just wouldn't be fair. These are some pictures from our Showcase of Learning and our student-led conferences. There you see a student sharing with Ms. Orr, just doing that student-led conference where she's showing what she's learned this year, what her goals are for the year, and how she's progressing toward those. And then the picture to the right is one of our students sharing with her mother, who's seated there, some of the things that she has to learn. To the left is Central City Chief of Police Jay Lindsay, and, well, in both pictures, he is going around with some of our students. We were able to get him to come out there with their side-by-side, take them for a lap around the school and that. We did get permission slips, but it was just a great way to build that relationship with our police department, and the smiles you see on their faces in these pictures were the smiles they had when they went home. It was all day long. This is Shop with a Cop. There we are with Chief Jay Lindsay along with Longest Elementary. We partnered with them with our Shop with a Cop. And so I specifically didn't want to get students, but there you see one of our police officers going down an aisle helping a student find something he was looking for. And I should have been more prepared and had a number, and maybe Mr. Browning, you can help me out, but we had 90, 100 kids probably there. There was 101 students that were there that day for Shop with a Cop. Which ones do? Do what? I think they partnered with just us. Yeah, so I think it was 100. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah. So anyway, so they were able to go in there and purchase anything that they wanted to. Obviously, a few things were limited, but just to be there, that's one of the highlights of the school year for us. This was the Penguin Plunge. Our school, I can't read the number, 4,283 was our donation, but then we had a last minute donation that came in, and there you see one of our students jumping into the water. A lot of people were asking why I don't jump in. That's because once upon a time I was told what to do, now I get to tell them. That is why I did not jump in that water. So those are just some of the highlights of what's going on at Central City Elementary. Just to add to that, things that I didn't put on the presentation, we are wrapping up our iReady testing. We're probably 95% done or so. We have a few students who are still working on it. But our goal for the year, toward our growth goal, is 100%. And in reading to this point, we are at 109%. In math, we're at 86, so we know that's an area that we're going to focus on for next year, so try to get that math, kick that closer to 100. And I want to highlight this, during our MTSS meetings, we graduated over 50 students out. This is our intervention, so our students who are struggling. We graduated over 50 students out in our January meeting because of our intervention program. So teachers, interventionists, Mr. Calso doing a great job there. To wrap the school year up, we're no longer counting up the days. We're now starting to count down the days of school that we have left. We have a field trip to the Central City Pool. We have our field day coming up. The last day of school, we have something called Tide's Got Talent, where our students get to showcase their talents to the school. We have the video game band coming in, and we have our kindergarten derby. That's the Friday before the Kentucky Derby. So if you all are free at about 1:15, I encourage you to come by. You're definitely invited, but thank you.
If you have any of your cooking class that wants to come to my house and show off their
Now,
talents,
before they
they
did
will.
that, they have to share with me. Every time I go by there, they just run out. Oh, can I say this real quick? I do want to mention that. I encourage everybody to do the clubs. Our cafeteria staff are the ones who leave school at 1 or 1:30 when their shift is over. They come back to the school to lead the cooking club.
Wow.
Everyone.
That's neat, nice.
Okay.
Do something a little different so I can see this. Taking some feedback that I received, I'm going to start doing a little bit more in the superintendent report, just kind of sharing some great things that are going on. So just over this last month, Jared, I'm just going to let you control it. I'm not even going to try. So one thing that we did at the end of March, 33 of teachers and administrators traveled to California. We were able to visit 3 schools, an elementary, a middle, and a high school on the Monday. some great ideas, took lots of pictures, lots of notes, came away from there with a lot of new ways that we can encourage our students and get them excited about wanting to be in school. So that's a picture of the group for that first day when we did the school visits. And then the last part of the trip was our Deeper Learning Conference. And so what we got to do there was really immerse ourselves in deeper learning. So we talk about project-based learning, which is where students kind of learn content in a real world, around a real world problem, right? So like take for instance, the bottom corner, JoJo and Ms. Armour, they chose to do a deep dive through bringing the outside in, or the inside out. I can't remember the exact name of it, but it was really about how we get our kids learning outside of the classroom. And we had several of our individuals who did some outside stuff, and so they bring in content, but they're also learning about, water, land, animals, enjoying the outside, but also learning. So we all basically spent a whole day as students in a project-based learning activity. I got to do, we did podcasting. So I learned how to build a podcast and be able to then kind of apply that later on. So one thing in the corner there, which, some of the things that we learned there is that it's really about the simple things. So those are just student seats made out of logs, basically, colored. One of the other things we saw in a playground literally was a patch of dirt. The kids were digging and playing and using cups and things. Simple, right? But we don't think about that we could just have a patch of dirt on the playground that kids could just get in there and be kids. So I think that that's really what we came away from with that trip of there's a lot of simple things that we don't think about, but can really enhance the learning for our kiddos. The other thing that we've been doing over the last month and a half, which we're so excited about, and if you got to see it, Ms. Rager got to go with me yesterday to see some of those, the student defenses of learning. And what those are really are just our students sharing, here's how I'm an engaged citizen, here's why I'm working on it, here's a strength that I have, and here's something I need to grow in. But really giving them the opportunity to share and tell us, take that ownership for the learning that's happening, not only inside the school building, but outside. We take for granted that the things that they do on the ball field or at church or the mission trip are learning experiences as well. So giving them the opportunity to share that, to show who they are and what excites them and how they're learning in all aspects of what they're doing. So I have a video clip if it'll play. If not, I can send it to you. Yeah, I thought I gave you access, but I'll send it to you. And let me tell you what's special about this video clip. This is a student at South Elementary who is one of our deaf and hard of hearing students. So she got up and was able to give her presentation. She would do the sign language, and then Miss Edie Ryan would say what she was signing. What I loved about this is at the end, after they finished and they said any questions, then students had the opportunity to ask each other questions. But not only that, give feedback. What's one thing she did well? And what's one thing she might need to work on? And the kids were respectful but honest. Maybe she could slow down a little bit, or maybe he needed to talk louder. So they were also practicing giving and receiving feedback, right? So we've seen this, all schools. We're going to see the middle school next week, so across grade levels. And this is just a pilot, so this is just a selection of students in our schools. We know that our ultimate goal is next year it'll be grades 3, 5, 8, and 12. But if you get the opportunity to set it comment on any of these. It makes your heart happy. It makes you smile just listening to the students and how they're able to vocalize what they're doing and why. Again, some other pictures just to show the presentations. We have created a Google Drive where we're dropping a lot of these videos so we can share later, but also we will come back together as a group at the end of April and reflect what went well, what are some things we can work on, what are our next steps. So that will be our next step in this process. I think that's it. Good deal.
Thank you. Thank you. I enjoyed going with her yesterday to watch the girls that did theirs, and you could tell there was a couple that were pretty nervous, and one, obviously, I guess she probably didn't have a lot of experience with speaking, and she even said that was one of the things that she had always struggled with, that being involved in the things that she was in school has really kind of brought her out of some of that. And I can totally relate to that because I would never in a million years dreamed I would be sitting here talking like this, in front of people, because I would have been hiding in the bathroom until it was over. So it was just so, you could relate and see yourself, personally in some of those students. So it was really fun. We had a good day. And on the outside learning, being outside, I think, I know, when I'm at work, just being in the building, and you can't get outside and it's so pretty outside, you just want to, be outside. And excuse me, but taking patients out sometimes will brighten their day and make their day go better. So I know the same goes for our kids. So anything that includes their learning something from positivity and upbeat things, I'm all about that. But I did enjoy yesterday. Hopefully I will choke over here. But
I will say one thing we got to see today that to me spoke as much as watching some of our students who do it all the time and being comfortable. There was a little girl that we got to see at Greenville who did not want to present, bless her. Like, you could tell she was nervous and anxious. What I loved that we got to see was the teachers kind of gradually worked with her, gave her some time, but also didn't give up on the expectation that she could present. Absolutely. And she did wonderful, and actually ended up teaching us something about an emoji that you can click on as a link. Like, I was like, what is that butterfly there for? So she told us, how you can click that. But I love the fact that we didn't just, which sometimes it's easy to be like, oh, okay, you're good. You don't have to. They encouraged her and talked her to where she was comfortable, and she got up and did her presentation, and it was great. So, love that. Yeah.
we'll move down now to our attendance and enrollment report. Mr. Watkins.
Chairman Rager, board members, just taking a review month 8 attendance. Month 8 ran from March 8th through April the 12th. Enrollment for month 8 was 188, which was down 15 students from the month before, but I will say 10 of those students were from the Job Corps who had graduated or completed certification, so that number is not as bad as it looks. Definitely don't ever want to lose students, but that was a good thing. So, and then our attendance percentage was down just a little bit to 91.71%. Our elementary division leader for the month was Bremen at 93, a little over 93%, and then Muhlenberg County High School at 91.66%. And that wraps up the attendance and enrollment report. Thank you.
Thank you.
I forgot, Eric. We want him to share too during the superintendent report.
Oh.
It's my fault, sorry.
We'll go back. We haven't moved on to
This is just an update on the construction and where we are in the process of mergers and those sorts of things. Just kind of go down by the building. South middle will be the middle school. Cafeteria alternation. sending the handrail information to the supplier. What we're going to do is the handrail out there is kind of the old square tubing. We're going to get the same sort of handrail that's out at the high school. It's kind of more modern. It looks really good. Kind of spruce it up a little bit. So they're going to have the plans ready to advertise on May 1st and then bid opening on May 5th. So the contractors are ready to start May 7th or May 20th. Surveyors have been on site in the last couple of weeks. They're getting everything ready for the longest move over to North Mill. They're also coordinating, this is the surveyors for the field house. For the field house, they've been coordinating private utility location company, Mark All Utilities, so they can make proper design connections, because out there's minimal sewer and electrical. The locker room concessions, we're working on the plans detailing the project. We'll have update to review on May 1st. At the high school, they've confirmed that A&K has material and is scheduled to remove the kitchen equipment to replace the tile and reinstall the equipment after the first day school is out. So with that, they tried every avenue to try to salvage what they had, and the more we looked at it, Contessa and I met with them, and we're like, we really don't want what's in there, because it looks like 20-year-old tile in a 1-year-old renovation. So they're going to pull everything out, they're going to tear that old tile up, and they're going to put brand new tile down. And they're going to do it right, and we're going to be out there frequently watching and making absolutely certain that it is correct. And unfortunately, the last time when they did that, there was so much dust that when you went out there to look, you couldn't see the color variations or anything like that. So, and then when they finally cleaned it up, and we saw that they had a patch of just all gray tile right here, and then a brown, or it was not a good look. So they're going to do that and make sure the tile is ordered, and so we have that ready to go. Longest, the surveyors have also been out there. The property marking the private utilities. They're also working on demolition and renovation plans. The schedule is to have a review update to share when we meet on May 1st to review the South Mill plans with you. We've been contacted by a playground equipment supplier, and we'll be able to give him a site plan as soon as the survey is completed. I know that Hayes has sent over, has worked with them on playground design. We do have a couple renderings, and really now the biggest thing is that Contessa and I just kind of sit down and see where they fall out budgetarily and those sorts of things. So there's some really neat playgrounds. So I think it's going to be really cool for the kids. And then lastly, the district facility plan. They've reached out to KDE to get an update on the district specific information once they get that information back. So we're really in a holding pattern with KDE. So as soon as we get that from KDE, they have to do some population trends from University of Louisville, and once that obtains, then we can go to our next meeting.
Baseball field. Where are we on that?
Baseball field is pretty much complete. The one thing that we're waiting on now, there's a drainage issue that we're going to take care of that's towards the rear of the field. That was not part of the original plan, but as renovations occurred, we saw that they're behind the band field. So we've got some folks coming in that they're going to put a new distribution box behind the press box and take the drainage all the way out to behind the band field. So it's going to be somewhere it doesn't hold water. And there's also going to be some fencing that's put up around there. So around the fields to kind of help channel people in. A lot of times they lose out on ticket sales because people just walk in and they have no way of knowing. So that's going to be for softball and baseball. So it's going to start at the first base line of the softball field and come all the way around and hit the band field. So we're really excited about that. And then I don't know if you've noticed the fence in between the two outfields is in pretty disrepair. So that is also being fixed, and they're going to put a gate in there for mowing crew and that sort of thing, something large enough where they can get that. Any questions?
Thank you.
Move down now to our board action items, and the first thing on the agenda is to consider adding a maintenance tech 1 position at the Muhlenberg County Middle School. Mr. Lyle.
Thank you, Chairman Reagan, board members. So this position is a maintenance tech 1 position for our new Muhlenberg County Middle School. It will be under the direction of our maintenance department, but this individual will be responsible for our sports fields as we look to get more sporting events out there at our new middle school. And it will eliminate the need to pull from the high school, and using that individual, this one would be specifically for the Muhlenberg County Middle School campus, and would also eliminate the issue of needing to pull a custodian. And then this person would also be able to help during the winter months in the school as well. So I would recommend the Muhlenberg County Board approve the addition of the maintenance tech 1 position for Muhlenberg County Middle School.
This will start next year, new school year.
Yes, starting July 1.
I'll make a motion.
A motion by Mr. Johar. Second by Ms. Bard. All in favor of considering adding the maintenance tech 1 position for Muhlenberg County Middle School, please say aye. 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 All opposed? Hear none. And we'll move down to item B, and that is to consider adding an esports head coach and assistant coach positions at Muhlenberg County High School.
We're excited about the opportunity to add an extracurricular activity of esports. I know we've had this conversation for some time. So adding that at Muhlenberg County High School, and you have the information there exactly of what esports is and what kind of opportunities that it provides for our students. So I recommend Muhlenberg County Board approve the addition of a head coach and assistant coach position for our esports at the high school.
I'm going to make a motion. Second by Mr. Johar. All in favor of considering the esports head coach and assistant coach positions at Muhlenberg County High School, please say aye. 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 All opposed? I hear none. Thank you. And item C is to approve disposal of surplus property to Kentucky Transportation Cabinet. Eric.
And I'm back. Thank you, Chairman Rager. This is, the Kentucky Department of Transportation is widening 181 North, and they have their 4 tracts of land that they have either asked to purchase or for easement rights during that construction phase. There's, like I said, three parcels. What we need to do is we have to declare them surplus in order to sell them, which is further down the list.
I'll make a motion. Second by Ms. Bard. All in favor of approving the disposal of surplus property to the Transportation Cabinet, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? Hear none. Down now to approve A1A contract between the Muhlenberg County Board of Education and John A. Newman Consulting Engineers for the North Middle Longest Gym HVAC project.
Thank you, Chairman Rager. This is one of them that we tabled last month. This is the contract to get the engineer to look at the building, to start planning on what infrastructure is going to be needed. So, and this kind of goes in conjunction with the BG1. I'll kind of touch on that really quick before we move on to that one. But what it is that we want this engineer to look at this, train. I've been talking with them extensively on the cost, and what they want to do is they gave us a number that was, they think it's going to come in under that, but they want the engineer to be able to look at that. What they don't want to do is lowball a number to us and then have the engineer come back in and give us a higher number. So this contract is to get that engineer to look at the project.
Got it.
Any questions?
So it'll be based on his opinion.
Yes, sir.
I'll make a motion.
I have a motion by Mr. Johar. Second by Mr. Bowers. All in favor of approving the contract for the Board of Education and the consulting engineer for Longest and Northville, please say aye. Aye.
Would the engineer know the
All
price?
opposed?
Excuse me.
Would you share the bid with the engineer?
Yeah, the bid, so the engineer is going to come back with much volume needs to be pushed through, what infrastructure, the duct work, those sorts of things. And so they're going to give that information to Train, and Train's going to revise their numbers. So we're now, for the next item, the BG1, we can, when we go to that, we approve that, and then you don't, when the engineer comes back and we don't like the pricing, we can say no. So that this does not by any means lock us into anything.
Because I still think it's high price.
And that's, I agree, and that's where
Otherwise,
I'm going back to.
not trying to hold on to.
Any other questions? We'll move down now to item E, and this is the approval of the BG1 for the Northville HVAC retrofit on gym.
So again, this is just the paperwork for KDE that allows us to move forward with this project. Even though we're on House Bill 678, when that expires, this prevents us having to go back and approve that BG after the fact. So we're just trying to lay the groundwork now. And as I mentioned before, if the pricing is not where we want it to be, then there's no obligation by us by any means to move forward with that. And once we have the engineering done, we can, worst case, we want to give it to another firm and say, hey, this is what it is, bid this. So there is that option.
Any questions? I need a motion to approve. Motion by Ms. Thorne. Second by Mr. Bowers. All in favor of approving the BG1, please say aye. Aye. Okay, thank you. All opposed? I hear none. All right. Moving down now to item F, and that's to approve parking lot resurfacing for the middle school.
I don't know if you've been out to the middle school, the South Middle, the parking lot out there is quite in bad shape. So this is to resurface that. I also asked Cody to give me an alternate in there that is basically, it's a little patch that goes from the road that goes around the high school into that baseball area, just to see what that cost would be. That is what that alternate is.
This for middle
The
school,
green
right?
area?
Yes.
The green area?
Yes, ma'am. So, wherein, because they've had such good attendance out there, which is fantastic, we'd like them to be able to use the Martin Hall parking lot and walk across there, and so that visitor side, that's another alternate entrance for them to use.
So this is the high school, and then the top one is the middle school. That's the kind of addition. So,
So the
we're,
high
sorry.
school- I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
The high school one is the 5858,
Correct.
and then what, the 3,000 in addition to the other?
That's the
For all that for the
restriping of the parking lot at South Avenue.
Okay.
Yes.
Just making sure.
So for that green area,
Yes.
can I once again suggest that we try True Grid for that, or some option of that?
Yeah, we can, absolutely. So we can accept the asphalt for the parking lot as well as the striping and just say no on the alternate. And then I can go and one, I'm going to talk to you and ask you like who your vendor is for that, and then look at those options as well.
And there are lots of different options. We just went with True Grid because
Okay.
it was the most economical for us, but there's all kinds of different options out there. And it has worked beautifully, and you don't have to repave it every year.
Right.
Which is phenomenal. You can drive on it. Oh, yeah, we drive big trucks, we drive semis over it. It's fork trucks. It's called True Grid. It's interlocking, for those of you who don't know, it's the interlocking plastic grids, and then you do all the dirt work underneath it, so you have sand, a sand base, a gravel base, then you put another base under it, put the interlocking grids, and they stay locked, they don't ever come apart, and then you fill that with a certain size gravel.
Like a pea gravel.
I wouldn't recommend pea, it needs to be a rough gravel. And everything interlocks and it becomes a hard, flat surface, and we drive semi-trailers and trucks over it and fork trucks over it all the time, and it is wonderful. No need to ever, and once the rocks are in, they're in. You don't have to add more rocks
I think that'd be a good place to
try it out.
try it out, absolutely.
We're actually doing our entire parking lot with that later.
Excellent. So the motion would be to approve the parking lot resurfacing as well as the striping, but not the alternate.
Correct. Thank you for clarifying that.
So I have a motion by Ms. Bart, I can't talk, to do the work at the middle school, but not the high school. And I'll second that. Second. All right. All in favor of approving the resurfacing for the middle school and not the high school, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? I hear none. And then we'll move down now to the approval of the salary schedule.
Thank you, Chairman Rager. So each year we pass our salary schedule. This year, the administration is recommending a 5% minimum across the board. And then what we've done is looked at the classified areas. After we looked at the teacher salaries, we compared all those and we recommended 5% is there. Then we looked at all the additional classified positions and have made adjustments based on those locations.
And you said we are good with the neighbor counties. And
We are. So, barring any large raises from them, the 5% puts us above everyone except Davis, Owensboro, and Warren counties.
Make a motion.
Do we have smiles out there? All right, I have a motion by Ms. Bard, second by Mr. Johar. All in favor of approving the salary schedule for a 5% raise,
You get double.
please say aye.
You get
Aye. Aye. All opposed? I hear none. All right, y'all are getting a raise. So that's always a good thing. So item H is to consider the sale of the old South Middle School on Pritchett Drive.
So, Mr. Hager, Mr. Ray Hagerman is with the MAP board, correct? The MAP board and Mr. McGee. They've asked to come and speak with you regarding this, so I'm going to kind of hand it over to you and let you come up and talk about it, and then I'll come back at the end.
Thank you, Chairman Rager and board members. As Eric said, I'm Ray Hagerman with Muhlenberg Economic Growth Alliance, and we are the organization who is charged with economic development for Muhlenberg County. What we put before you tonight is the possibility of looking at doing some things relative to the old South Middle School. This is something that Judge and I have been talking about for a couple of weeks now, about some of the possibilities. Actually, he had an idea, came to me, we talked about it, thought it was a pretty good idea. Long and short of it is, we have several initiatives that we are planning on doing in economic development over the next 2 to 3 years. Some of the planning obviously needs to be fleshed out. Some things we have already started on. Had alternative places to possibly do them, but it sure would be nice to do it in an all-purpose, all-in-one place that can serve almost every person of some way or another in Muhlenberg County. So kind of just to kind of give you a feel for where we're coming from is if we did purchase the building, and what we are asking is for you to entertain a letter of intent, that's what we supplied you with. give us about 60 days to do a lot of evaluations on the building to see if it's something that we think we can do, given what repairs we might think might be necessary and some other things. And then after that, by the end of that 60-day period, have a formal contract, and then have 45 days to close for cash after that. So anyway, I thought it was important because you probably looked at it and you go, well, that's not a lot of money for the entire school building. But what I would say to you is, given what we plan to do with it and what it will do, I would ask you to consider the fact that what money that we are putting, what money we would be paying you for, think about that number exponentially as to what we'll be putting into the building and the benefit that it will have for the community. So the first thing I wanted to mention was, obviously the football field and the gymnasium, we wouldn't specifically have use for as an economic development pursuit. So what we would like to do is make that available to Parks and Rec to do whatever they would want to do with it. Have an extra football field, have an extra gym to make use of. One of the main focuses of the building, though, would be to put together a training center there that would be primarily focused on advanced manufacturing jobs of the future, mechatronics, PLC, automation, robotics, electromechanical type operations, including even electric vehicle career skills training. We're putting our money where our mouth is because we've already spent $400,000 on PLC trainers that we have made available to Massago Community College, which right now won't be ready until about July, and they can't actually start teaching until about August. They already have several incumbent workers lined up to train there at various companies. We also would want to make those PLC trainers available to high school students, Massago Community College students, retraining of students that are adults and want to go into a different career field. Haven't really fleshed all of that completely out, but those trainers will show up. We have a place to put them now, but I'd much rather put them in a robust location like this. There's about $3.7 million of other training relative to all of these disciplines that we have made a federal ask for from Congressman Guthrie's office. So we're in the queue there for the potential there. If we don't get the federal funds that would allow us to do it all at one time, we'll do it piecemeal over the next few years and still have the same level of training that we can offer. That's definitely something that would happen, and turning over the football field and gymnasium is definitely something that would happen to Parks and Rec. The third thing is we have need in Muhlenberg County. Believe it or not, we have a whole lot more remote workers in Muhlenberg County than you probably think that we do. And I don't know how many of you guys have ever worked remotely and worked remotely for a great deal of time, but after a while you kind of get tired of being there by yourself. You get tired of using your third bedroom as an office. And so a lot of people have started going to co-working type spaces. I've stood one of these up before. It's not that hard. You don't need a great deal of space, and we could easily get 10, 12, 15 people that would pay a monthly fee to, come in and out, and it's much cheaper than renting office space, and it's a whole lot more fun than trying to do it in your third bedroom. The other byproduct there is, especially if you're talking about a service-related business, or maybe even a technology-based business, it provides a place that's almost like an incubator. It's a place where they can grow. It's a place they can have those collisions with other people and come up with the next big thing, and it can happen right here in Muhlenberg County. So these are not difficult to do, and that would be something that we obviously could take some space there to do as well. The next next thing is I really like the fact that there's a commercial kitchen there that's still in really good shape. The eating area there is still a really good space to do some things. I stood up a kitchen incubator before in a different place, and it's not that hard to do either with the right kind of support and the right kind of assistance. People can bake things, they can cook things that they probably don't have a robust enough system at home to do, but they can actually operate it out of a kitchen incubator, and there's plenty of space there to do all of that. And the good thing is all of these things I've talked about so far can peacefully coexist. One thing I forgot to mention, though, when I talked about the co-working space, is we actually have funding to help operate a general center of co-working space, incubator space, because we've paired up with Owensboro's endeavor called VentureWorks. We currently are part of a group called Grow West that's based out of Paducah that gets funded from the state of Kentucky Innovation Network, where currently we receive about $50,000 a year that we get matched, specifically for entrepreneurial services. We're going to be doing the same thing with Owensboro's VentureWorks. So we'll roughly have $100,000 to actually help operate several of these things on an ongoing basis for at least 3 years, if not longer. Space permitting and such that we don't have to spend a lot of money upgrading. Again, I stood up the makerspace over in Madisonville for about $150,000 worth of equipment, which is easy enough to get from USDA or from EDA. It's a matter of writing a grant and making a case for it. But you can stand up for that same figure. You've got woodworking equipment, you got metalworking equipment, you got embroidery, laser engraving, and I'm telling you this, during 2020, during COVID, there were a lot of people who made their living out of those machines. We had several people that would say, well, I can't figure out why I can't get people to come back to work in certain industries. And it was because the family was making an extra $2,000 or $3,000 a month making things at the makerspace and selling them online. So we have the ability to do those sorts of things too. Hobbyists, people that are operating their own business, even students that can learn how to do things on a CNC machine, on a laser engraver, on a plasma cutter, and do metal work. So there's all of these different types of things that you can do in a makerspace, and there's still plenty of space at the Old South Middle School to be able to do those things. And then last but not least, probably, if there's excess space left over, is to carve out some space where several nonprofits, for example, could have their own small spaces to work out of. That's always a problem whenever you're dealing with a nonprofit, is that they don't have a lot of money left to overhead. They're either doing their mission or they're spending money on administrative expenses, which none of us like to see happen. It might give them an area to work out of, have an address to receive mail out of, and all those kinds of things, and space to actually have meetings and do things like that. At Mega, we have commissioned a housing study that's ongoing right now today to identify what our housing gap really is in Muhlenberg County, like what kinds of housing do we need and what stratas, whether it's expensive housing all the way down to very affordable housing. What I can tell you is that we will find that we don't have enough multifamily. And so one of the things that we might want to explore doing at that location is actually putting some housing there as well. And the fact that you have all of these things that we just talked about within walking distance up the hill to downtown Greenville for people to, eat their lunch there, hang out in Greenville and do different things like that. Again, these are just ideas that we spewed over the past couple of weeks. 2 or 3 of them, absolutely positively, we need a place to land this equipment and start a training center, and we need some space to do some co-working space. But other than that, we're going to look at community input. we might find that some of the things I just mentioned is not as, desirable as other things. But we'll send some community surveys out, what people will want to do, what do you want to see done with that space. But all of that can only happen if you guys would consider, again, I understand $175,000 is a cheap price, but just know that any more money we spend on the purchase is less money that we can spend standing up some of the things that we just talked about. And I would submit to you that the alternative is, if we gave you a whole lot more money for the building, how are you going to deploy that capital to do some of the things that are beneficial to the community? Whereas if we spend $4 million on equipment to train people that are the skilled workforce of the future, I think the trade-off there is kind of weighs in our favor. And I will tell you this, the number one thing that we hear from anybody that's interested in our community from an economic development perspective is workforce, workforce, workforce. What's it like? What does it know? How good is it? And I will tell you, and I want to thank Mr. Carver and thank Nika Ball for some of the things, and obviously Ms. Orr. We had a site visit probably 3 weeks ago, a month ago, where the gentleman came and he talked to the kids, he talked to the teachers, he was in the lab, he was in the welding area, and he came away just blown away with what we're capable of doing. And all I'm telling you is we're capable of so much more. So just give us a shot. Judge, you want to follow up with any of that?
Well, on my end of it, like I said, I went to Ray was ideal because I'm looking at this space and I'm thinking, what's the possibilities? There's endless possibilities there if it's in the right hands. And I definitely don't want to see it do like some of the other schools has in this county that's been left behind, basically. And, on the technical end of it, which is my background, I see we're starting kids out in high school, but we need the next step. We need also an adult ed training facility in the county of the ones that's gotten out of high school and haven't done it. So, we're trying to reach a group of people to make them productive through training. And with this facility, I think we can reach that goal. We can build a workforce and we can bring industry here. The gentleman he was talking about, we had already had discussions with the community college about some type of partnership in Middleburg County. They're doing what they can with the space they've got in Central City, but they're running out of space. And Matt Luckett, which is the chairperson of the AIT program of Madisonville, he's excited if we can acquire this building and have it all in one spot instead of having part of it here and part of it there, moving everything that they need to move from Central City's campus to this campus, moving everything that they've got at Madisonville that they're not using, bringing to this campus, plus the new equipment at this campus, and all in one inclusion. It would be a great thing for the community and for the school system, because it would provide an opportunity for dual credit for your high school students to come and get the higher level courses, and they don't have to drive Madisonville, basically. They're right here in the county. So, and two, talked to Matt about maybe even having some type of introductory class there that you can expose some of the younger kids to, so that they can get on track to go into these fields as they get into high school and on out of school. So,
one of the things that he would bring over from Madisonville is heavy equipment simulators. That would be something I'm sure your juniors and seniors would love to climb upon and learn to use.
They've got them stored. They have these space equipment. It's a waste. Having that exposed.
Well, speaking as a business owner, if you'll allow me a moment, who has been working on revitalizing an old school site. I'm the co-founder of the Bar Distillery, Mr. Hager. We haven't met personally.
Yeah,
We'd love to see you at the distillery. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, we did long ago, yeah.
So retrofitting something like that is a lot. These buildings need to be used. They need to be used very quickly, otherwise they fall into disrepair, as happened at Graham School. So I am all for the community getting a hold of this, the mega board getting a hold of it, and making something for our community that will not only help our citizens, but also create opportunities for our students and others in the community to start new businesses or have a maker space or get trained, try things out to see what they might like. I think that's a great way for us to come up with new jobs and new technologies here. And growing Muhlenberg County is what we're all about. And we grow them from kindergarten up, so I'm all for this, speaking for myself.
And as for utilizing the gymnasium and football field, Parks and Rec is trying to start up the junior football program again. We're trying to help them get that done. They don't have the field. They said they can use the high school's field, but I don't know how that goes. You've got your band, you've got your football, and you've got everything else going on out there.
They're gonna need that
They need
space.
their own space, and the field's there, it just needs to be, renovated and put to work. As far as the gymnasium concerned, they're overrun with kids in their gymnasium out there at Parks and Rec, so this would be a great, another venue for them.
And I would like to say, it's exciting to have the opportunity, I think, to partner the school system in the county, just being involved in the community. I echo what Kim said, just that importance, and I think it's a way to bring hope and give people opportunities maybe to get that start, to get training, to get a place to kick off their business, whatever the need might be. I was excited when I read the packet.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank y'all.
All right, thank you. So we're down now to considering the sale of Old South Middle. Do I have a motion to approve?
Make a motion.
Have a motion by Ms. Bard,
I'll second.
second by Ms. Wells. All in favor of considering the sale of Old South Middle School on Pritchett Drive, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? I
Mr.
hear
Hagerman, you got a lot of work now. Huh? Make it happen now.
Would be the first time.
All right, and we'll move down now to item I, and this is to approve resolution for sale and easements of tracts for the Kentucky Department of Transportation.
Right, these are the 3 tracks that we declared surplus in the first motion. Parcel 44 is a deed of conveyance, which is the sale of it, and an easement. The second is parcel 45, it's deed of conveyance, and then parcel 58 is just an easement. So,
I'll make a motion to approve. Second by Mr. Bowers. All in favor of approving the resolution for sale and easements of their tracts for the Kentucky Department of Transportation, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? I hear none. Thank you. We'll move down now to our board consent agenda items, and this is approval of the minutes of the prior board meeting, Central City Elementary School request for surplus and disposal of items, facilities use, and field trip requests. Everybody's had a chance to review all of this in your packets. Are there any questions? I need a motion to approve. Motion by Mr. Johar. Second by Mr. Bowers. All in favor of approving the board consent agenda items, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? I hear none. We are down to adjournment. Need a motion to, motion by Mr. Bowers. Second by Ms. Bard. All in favor of adjourning, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? I hear none and we are adjourned. Thank you.